right, I think it's time to get to some mailbag questions, Kelly.
Let's do it.
Of course, it is Thursday, so Mailbag Monday continues. It will continue forever. It is perpetually Mailbag Monday.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're not real.
In the first on Monday, we answered one question. We answered one mailbag question on Monday.
Still counts.
And it's increased every day since. We're going to lead things off with Flyers fan 39. And this is something we hinted at a little bit, but do you think 21 is declining? And if so, when should we cut ties? I'd like to think he isn't declining and this is just a bad year.
Yeah.
However, he plays a style of hockey very dependent on energy and physicality, mixing it up, emotion.
Yeah.
I'm not going to compare him to Mike Richards because we did that when he was drafted, and he's not that.
No.
But guys who play more of a cannonball out there style have a chance to kind of hit their wall before a Claude Giroux, who it's like, well, I can make skilled plays till I'm 38, you know? Like, it's definitely possible. He could just be in decline.
Yeah. That's the thing, like, we don't know. Like, is it possible that he bounces back next season? Sure, it's possible. Is it possible that he looks even worse? Yeah, that's possible too. And we don't know. So if someone comes along and wants to give you some good stuff for Scott Laughton, you kind of have to take it because it's too chancy, and the futures, I think, right now are what the team needs. You can't really turn them down, in my opinion.
No, that's, and like, if we don't know the answer to the question, it's like, well, even if Scott Laughton bounces back, what did you really give up on?
Right.
Like,
he's not a game changer.
No. If you're worried about what he's going to be, then like you have way bigger issues in your organization.
Yeah.
So is he in decline?
Maybe.
But I think now is the time to try to cash in on whatever you can get for Scott Laughton. It might not be what we thought it was going to be, a few months ago.
Also could be.
But it could be. Like, Tampa gave up a first-round pick for Tanner Jeannot. Like, teams do dumb shit all the time.
Sure do.
At 3 Slim has our next question. This is the one that annoyed you.
Yes.
Other than trading Provorov, what has the team done to convince you they're actually rebuilding and not just talking about it?
Okay, so respectfully, excuse me, what else... what could they have done here mid-season to prove to you that they're doing a rebuild? Like what? Because they keep saying it over and over again. No one makes trades during the season, hardly ever. So like, what were they meant to do to convince you?
I guess people, like we just talked about with Scott Laughton, if you were really offered a first-round pick for Scott Laughton at the draft, not taking that is asinine.
I feel like last summer, though, coming off the year that he had, you can make the argument to yourself that keeping him is more valuable to the rebuild than trading him.
And
that's a logical argument that could have been made. It's not crazy.
I will say, if we're talking about the draft, they just took someone in the first round with the 7th overall pick who ain't going to be here till 2026.
Exactly.
Like that, I think, is the dead giveaway. They also attempted to trade Travis Sanheim. He would not be here if not for Torrey Krug's no trade clause.
Yeah.
Like, they dumped Kevin Hayes. I think that's more of a culture move than anything.
Yes.
Kind of break up the locker room a little bit. But it's the reason I think it's not a bad question is they do have to do more things like starting now.
Well,
like the rest of like trading Gauthier, that's not, but getting a 21-year-old defenseman back who was the 6th overall pick a few years ago, like that's good. I don't know if it's so much a rebuild move as just like we need the best return we can.
It was a shrewd
people
move,
are gonna
given the situation.
Things at us, yeah. Like it's just the trade they had to make.
Yeah.
But they do have to do some things between now and I think it's March 8th. Friday, March 8th is the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Like between now and then, they will prove how committed they are to this rebuild.
Yes. What happens at and in the weeks leading up to the deadline is important to answering this question. But there's literally no reason for us to believe that everyone in the front office is lying to us for reasons and that they're not going to make the moves they've said out loud that they're going to make. The saying it out loud, to me, is kind of a huge deal. Like, obviously it's just words, but like with the way the team was rolling, they could have very easily just like stepped back and been like, ooh, let's see what happens. But they even then were like, nah, we're still trading guys, so just get ready for that.
Yeah.
And I think that like until, I've said this 1,000 times, until Danny Briere shows me that he's not doing a good job at this, I have no reason to believe he's not doing a good job at this. And so far, not a single thing.
And like trading Ivan Provorov, like other than trading like that's a big deal.
That is a huge deal.
The dude played 26 minutes a night for this
the way
team.
that the trade was structured and the things that he took back, like he took on contracts, like he
the
did,
Cal Peterson contract, taking that back, like that was
a full-on rebuild
Yeah.
trade, 100%. And given that that was the first thing that he did, pretty much as general manager, like I don't know what more you want from these people.
I understand I think it's
Stop it. Things are good.
It's a bit fair of a question, but also there is the nobody makes trades in November and December thing.
No.
Like it just doesn't really happen.
Never.
This one, I just want to read his name. Paul with the great car ideas. What does the rest of the season look like for it to still be considered a success? I don't mean the whole season. I mean specifically the remainder. Personally, I'm more concerned with how we play than the record itself. I can accept if we, lose 5 in a row if each game looks like the Tampa one. And
or the Colorado game.
Yeah, the Colorado game
Also
I think was
good.
the perfect.
Yeah.
Like
Perfect loss.
Yeah, Nathan McKinnon, he's going to be the MVP.
Yeah.
He's and
ridiculous.
He went MVP. And Kucherov's probably going to be the runner-up.
Yeah.
And he went nuts in the Tampa. Like,
yeah.
Those are kind of, I get where he's going with that. And yet it is the effort and the way they play and making sure everyone's still committed to the John Tortorella plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the most important thing.
Yeah.
The record matters to me just in that a prolonged losing streak will make the last 6 weeks of this season meaningless. And I do not want that. Like that to me, like, okay, now cool. Like Morgan Frost had a 3-point game. Like, I don't care. It's a fake game.
Yeah.
This doesn't allow me to evaluate someone the way a game down the stretch that means something does, where the other team isn't overlooking it because they need it. And you are like, we need this. We're giving it 100%.
Yeah.
So that's what success looks like to me. Staying in this thing, and when April begins, it's like season ain't over.
Yeah. And I know the tankers don't like to consider this, but playing really well and winning games, I think seems to be important to the rebuild effort. Like these guys playing in a bunch of meaningful games for the entire length of this season and really making a push for the playoffs. And even if they sneak in and they get swept in the first round, like if they are learning how to win, like I hate stuff like that, but like really learning how to win.
Young teams don't win in this league.
No.
They don't really win in any sport. Like we hold teams like the Oilers and the Maple Leafs to this standard because they're superstar laden teams and you just expect them to dominate.
Yeah.
And it's like guys win when they're 28, 29, 30.
Yeah.
They don't win at this age. It's very like learning the steps and what it takes along the way, and so you're not overwhelmed the first time you actually have like expectations, I think is important. Yeah. Having really great players is the most important thing.
Obviously.
But like all the other shit, we wouldn't hear so much about it if it wasn't at least a little true.
Yeah.
Like learning to win is a thing, and there's that stupid. I mean, I doubt it's even true, but we've heard it so many times. In hockey lore, it is true. When the Oilers lose to the Islanders in the Gretzky Oilers in the Stanley Cup final, and they're like, it's Gretzky and Messier walking by the Islanders locker room, and they look in, and it's not a party. Everyone's covered in ice bags. Well, first of all, it's not fucking true. It's hockey. Like, they were definitely partying. But the idea of this, maybe they were partying with ice bags taped to them. But, like, the idea, like, that's what it takes. You're going to play fucking hurt.
Yeah.
You're basically going to have to put your life on the line to win the Stanley Cup. Like, Gabriel Landeskog is never going to be the same because he played through those playoffs. Like, they're talking about he's going to come back and it's kind of a miracle. Yeah. Like, learning that stuff early makes it so that hopefully you don't have this when the team is in their prime.
Right.
It's, we wasted those years because we didn't know what to do.
I would agree that the effort for me is more important than the result, because here's the thing. If it's going to be hard for this team because we saw what happens, I should say, when the way that you win hockey games is by outworking the other team. It makes you real run down. The team has looked defeated over the last few games, I think mostly because they had nothing left in the tank.
Yeah.
It's very likely that if they do continue to win and they are pushing for a playoff spot, they're going to run out of gas again at the end because it's going to be really tough for them. They got to beat teams that are better than them on paper, and the only way they do it is by outworking them. But for me, like, people are going to hate this, but if they are playing the way that we saw them play during the hot streak and they just miss, I'm still going to be like, you know what? They really fucking went for it.
Yeah.
They were playing great hockey. They did the best they possibly could, and they almost got there. And that's good because I need all of these players to be the kind of players that can get to the playoffs. Like, they have to be those players. And if this is going to turn them into that, that's fine. Like, I know it sucks that we're going to pick like 15th or whatever. I get it. But also, draft picks are lottery tickets. William Gauthier is not a flyer. Nolan Patrick is not a flyer. It doesn't always matter.
Matvei Michkov is.
Please, don't speak it into existence.
In Russia.
Yeah,
you know, I
so,
just don't know what goes on over there.
Yeah, like, let these guys turn into badass hockey players that win hockey games. Like, this is good for the rebuild. It's not all about draft picks. That's not the only thing.
But, and that's, like, I want the players on the ice and the coach to go for it. I also want Danny Briere to extract as much value from the rest of the league as he can.
Both of those things are going to happen.
Both things can happen in tandem. Mm-hmm. Now, it might hurt the team on the ice, and that might push them out of it.
But they can still try.
But, like, good. Then they get a better draft pick.
Right.
But they're also, like, you know, it's... They have to thread a very fine needle here. Yeah. But if it works, it's a fucking awesome plan. Like, it's a really fun plan for fans. It just might be more difficult to pull off. That said, and I know I use this as an example all the time, Buffalo has had 10 consecutive top 10 picks. They haven't been to the playoffs since Mike Richards eliminated them in 2011.
It's not the way. It's not like the key.
There's not a, yes, you do need those upper echelon guys, but they're not even a guarantee.
Also, like, I think Colorado only had 2 top 5 picks.
And a bunch of their guys, like...
Tampa, I'm pretty sure, only had 1 or 2 top 5 picks.
Finding Kucherov in the third round, Point in the second.
Like, that's what you got to do.
Those are real important.
Yes. It's not... It's just... The idea that getting the high draft picks is the only way to guarantee a rebuild works is nonsense. It's not the case.
Vegas traded for Eichel, signed free agent Pietrangelo. They don't win without those. Like,
right.
Those are very important things.
Yeah. Is it a lot easier if you draft Nathan MacKinnon? Sure. But you're not always going to be able to. And even when you do draft high, sometimes it doesn't fucking work out.
And it was, I think it was last year, Nathan MacKinnon in the offseason, or before they won the Cup a couple seasons ago, he said, I'm going into year 7 and I haven't won shit yet.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a while.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of different pieces on top of those awesome players.
And what got Colorado to winning the Cup was not just having Nathan MacKinnon. Otherwise, they would have won it years ago.
Yeah.
They needed a whole bunch of other pieces, and they didn't get all of those pieces through the draft.
Look at the high-end guys they've moved on from leading up to this. Ryan O'Reilly, Matt Duchene. Like, they've had a lot of subtractions over that time as well, and like in order to balance things.
Yeah.
I've been saving this one. I'm glad I got to it while you were here because it's a fun one. Okay. From Aiden M. If you could give one Flyers prospect from any era who didn't work out in the NHL for whatever reason, lists Nolan Patrick, Oscar Lindblom, Eric Wellwood, Jason Atkinson. If you could give them a do-over on this team, who would it be? Like,
so many.
I mean, yeah, all of them.
Right?
Oscar Lindblom is a great one. Just because, goddamn.
He was looking so good.
Like, led the team in goals. And then it's like, yeah, he's got cancer.
Yeah.
Like, no one ever just breaks their arm in this organization. It's always fucking something ridiculous.
I'm telling you.
Like, so Oscar Lindblom is the probably the sentimental pick for me. I was just looking in my closet. I forgot we're going to talk about jerseys probably tomorrow at this point. I bought a reverse retro, those first ones, Oscar Lindblom.
Yeah.
I was like, it was him or Kevin Hayes. And I was like, I think I just like Lindblom more. It's like, well, now they're both gone. But like, he's a good one. I have a few more. Who would you want to give the...
So I reached all the way back into the vault inside of my mind to the early 2000s Phantoms. And there is a guy that they had that was a high draft pick who had a lot of hype. And I really thought he was going to be something for the Flyers. Jeff Wojciechowski. I really thought he was going to be something.
I remember creating him in a game.
Yeah.
Like after I heard about him.
He was like super hyped up. Like remember when Braden Shen was like best player not in the NHL?
Yeah,
like
he was like that.
Was like hyped up, and I really thought he was going to be something, and he turned out to be absolutely nothing.
Just barely played and never played for the Flyers. Right?
I don't think he did. Yeah.
Former third-round pick. Remember Marc-Andre Bourdon? He looked like he was really going to be something. Played 45 games, got hurt. I think, was he the concussions? He just had like multiple concussions and never rebounded.
Are you thinking of Pascal Laberge? Are you thinking
Pascal Laberge never played in the NHL.
Oh, no. Yeah, you're right. He didn't.
Yeah.
He did get a lot of concussions.
I don't think Ryan. I think it was Bourdon.
It might have been Bourdon.
Like, I always looked at him. I always think of the Phantoms guys from when I was a kid as prospects, but like they weren't prospects. They were all 27 years old playing in the AHL. Because the AHL at that point for the Flyers was just like another way to make money.
Yeah.
Like, let's get all these dudes who can score 50 down here and a few fighters. Well. Like,
it was a good time.
And sell a bunch of tickets to something for kids because no one can afford to go to Flyers games.
Yeah, but there was like Ben Eager. I was kind of hoping like he was crazy good in juniors. I remember I went on once back in that era. I went on like a little Canadian junior hockey road trip with a friend of mine. And we went to Oshawa where Eager had played. And his face was on the side of the bus. Like he was a big deal. And I really thought he was going to turn into something. And he kind of just was just a guy.
Now he had a pretty, I won't say decent, but like, spent more time in the NHL than maybe this list you would think.
I guess technically he made it in the NHL.
My guy, Zach Rinaldo, remember those couple of weeks where they were trying to like make him something?
Yeah.
Like he's going to play on the third, like he's with Sean Couturier now. He's on the penalty kill.
They tried
like
real
when
hard.
they were trying, I wanted that so bad. Like if he could just be awesome to like just be kind of serviceable, like an Aaron Asham kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like Aaron Asham played like 10 years.
I know.
Like if Zach Rinaldo could have been like that and chipped in a goal, that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if he. My guy Tyrell Goulbourne. I made them call him up. Amazing first shift. That hit against the Bruins that led to, I think, a Scott Laughton goal. But that was pretty much it for Goulbourne. That's a good. I mean, just there's so many.
I got the 2003 Phantoms up, and there's just so many.
Is the direction of the entire franchise different if it's Nolan Patrick here? Like, how different are things if he's what he's supposed to be?
You have to wonder if they would have admitted that they needed a rebuild.
Probably not.
Probably not, right? And like, if the team's better because Nolan Patrick is what he was supposed to be, like, does anybody ever get fired? Like all of the people that needed to get fired, Hextall needed to get fired. Like, I don't know. It's a very butterfly effect thing because so many things have happened since that happened. I don't know. The thing is, like, I wonder because Hextall was so bad at adding NHL talent. Like, what would he have done around Nolan Patrick to like build a winning team? I don't know.
You have him and Couturier down the middle, and I guess Kevin Hayes.
Yeah.
Or no, Hayes that's Chuck Fletcher, right?
Yeah. That was Fletcher.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
No idea.
It would have been fun to find out.
A couple more here. And Eric Wellwood, I think.
I think everybody really wanted him to be
everyone just
something
wanted to see. Like, can we please just see this guy? And of course, the like fastest skater we've ever had. Oh yeah, he had his Achilles sliced.
Yeah,
that's not good for you.
Not good.
So that like him, that would just be awesome if that never happened. Yeah, you know, that sucks. All right, a couple more here from Brett Smith. Any chance the Flyers get a young center with upside in the Walker deal instead of a first-round pick? And who would be a possible target?
I don't think so.
I think like when we talked about Morgan Frost, like I want that.
Yeah.
I think that would have to be more of a hockey trade.
Yeah.
Like maybe that would be the one. But Walker, I think, is a futures deal.
Yeah, he's 100% like a classic deadline deal where a team that's going for it that just needs a couple of backup pieces and is like, I don't give a fuck about our number 31 overall pick. Just take that. We need this guy. Like, that's the kind of trade this is going to be.
And finally, from K-Red, I just want to know how the show is going. You
This
guys,
is so nice.
Are you guys pleased with engagement so far? Is ALLCITY satisfied? I've become rather invested in the various shows on PHLY. And K-Red, he's a regular commenter. He's always
So
in
nice. Yeah.
always. So I really appreciated that question. The show's going great, man. Things are going really well. I was just talking to the bosses before the show. Everyone is definitely pleased. I think you all probably have noticed an uptick in the amount of ad reads. Now, sometimes that's not the, like, people, I know you don't want to listen to ads. I listen to plenty of podcasts, but it is also a sign that things are going well for us and you can expect more and more content from us and you don't have to pay us for those things. So that's always good.
Yeah.
But do become a diehard member. No, but things are going great and we really appreciate anyone who's invested in what the hell we're doing, because this is freaking awesome, man.
We all silly like the mayor.